and welcome to PlumeriaPlay. I have been playing a lot with the new Life and Death expansion pack and doing a decent bit of building. And one thing I noticed while I'm doing that is that it's so warm and cozy, and a lot of the more traditional, like older style looking stuff is perfect for a cozy cafe. So that is actually what we're going to be doing today in The Sims. So let's go ahead and hop into the speed build. A couple quick things when we're getting started. That is my inspiration photo that we're going to be working off of. You'll probably see it pop up a time or two throughout the build because I use it a lot for a reference. And secondly, Apollo is here in my lap. So if you hear or see him, he's just right there, but I think he's going in the desk cubby, so you may hear some little thuds here or there. The general shape and exterior of this build actually came together really fast. You'll see me going back and forth with this little dormer several times, and spoiler, it ends up getting deleted because my roof is pulled too far over right now and it just doesn't fit right. I tried to put it there a few times, but it never really works properly. So the roof line changes just a little bit, but the actual shape of the building doesn't change too much from here. I think we add on one more little bump out on the other side where the rounded bit is not. But the inspiration photo was pretty nice and clear and honestly pretty easy to copy. So that was at least really nice. We are building this in the lighter area of the world. So the outside of this is gonna be those creamy colors with the red tone roof. But once we go inside, it's going to be dark, cozy, library type of cafe. I actually am pretty happy with the way that this one turned out. This style of the new world that is with the Life and Death pack, they call it Ravenwood, is kind of hard for me. It's not that it's a difficult style to build with, but it's not a style that I usually gravitate towards or even really know all that well. This style of the world is called Romanian Revival, but it has been really fun to try to build with a new type of style. Also, now you're going to see me here playing around with the floor plan, and also spoiler alert, we delete all of this. I delete the stairs and we start back over from scratch here in a little bit. I decided it's better to maybe go ahead and place my windows and whatnot first before we worry about stair placement. And I had a lot of trouble with stair placement in this build, so I am pretty glad that I waited, but I did leave this in because I like to show that building is not always a linear process. It's not always exactly the first thing that I put down is what we keep. And I felt like with this build in particular, I struggled a little bit more than usual just because community lots are not something I super regularly build. I really enjoy building community lots, and especially cafe lots. It's by far my favorite lot type in The Sims, but it's not my comfort zone for sure. So this build does go through a few different stages before we end up at our final results. I also feel like I should mention you're probably seeing a few different fence types and whatnot right now, and that was all filler furniture. So all of that will change, and it looks like it's changed now. We actually end up using a lot of the castle estate with this pack on the exterior. I actually think those two packs mesh together so well. Also, I was attempting to use that trim that comes with the Life and Death pack, and I just can't make it work. I've yet to find a build that I think it looks good in. It feels like it's too big. So if you know the best way to use that, let me know in the comments. But we end up using this trim from the Castle Estate kit, and I think it looks perfect. I absolutely love it. It adds the perfect amount of detail while staying in the same color range. While this is definitely not a style I usually go for or gravitate towards, I feel like I'm starting to gravitate towards it a little bit. I'm really starting to enjoy this style, and here I am trying to make that dormer work again. I cannot get it to work. But I found that one from university that has that red tone in it. So it doesn't stay there, but we do put it on the other little bump out. And I got a little roof to go over our patio and got to use this extra piece that came with the Life and Death pack. But while all this is shaping together, I kind of want to talk about my thoughts and opinions on the Life and Death pack so far. So Life and Death came out on a Thursday, and for those of you who don't know, I work mainly over the weekends, so it coming out on a Thursday makes it where I can't aggressively play with it on the several days following. So I have been doing a Life and Death stream let's play pretty much every day that I've been streaming, except for this cafe build, which we also built over on stream. But outside of the streams, I haven't had a ton of extra time to put my hands on the new Life and Death expansion pack. Now, the Let's Play we're doing on stream is like kind of an all-encompassing Let's Play. And I will say from that alone, I feel like there is so much to do in this expansion pack. I have a foursome household and they're all kind of doing a different part of the pack. And the fact that I can have 4 Sims that are all tackling different areas of the pack feels really good to me. I've been having a lot of fun with it so far. I don't know how I feel about future playability of Life and Death yet. I just can't quite say yet, but I have played with almost nothing but Life and Death since it's come out in the times that I've had to play, and I feel like I still haven't seen or done everything that the pack has to offer yet. So with that being said, I do feel like this expansion pack actually feels like an expansion pack. And I think a lot of the gameplay is a lot of fun. The ghost tree is really cool. I love the new 2 careers so far. I have not maxed out a ghost yet. I have not completed either of the careers yet. I've not even touched the tarot card collection yet. I've gone to a couple of the little festivals, but I haven't done all of those yet. I feel like there's just so much to do, and I've played with Life and Death for a little while. Not as much as I'd like to, like I said, just because of time constraints, but I mean, over 4 hours on the Let's Play that we did on stream alone, and we're not done with it by any means. So I will say so far, my initial opinion of the pack is pretty positive. That's not an official review, so don't go buy it based off of that. I'm sure that there are simmers that have had access to the pack for longer that probably have more fleshed out reviews, but as a part-time simmer who has another job to work, I just haven't quite had the time to put in to give you a proper review of this pack, and I certainly wouldn't want to give you a half-hearted review. So I will eventually be doing a full review of the Life and Death expansion pack, but you will have to give me some time on that. I feel like if I just put out a review now, I feel like I'd be missing some parts that may or may not add or take away from the review. You know what I mean? Also, I just really love The Sims, and I get very excited when we get new stuff, so I think I'd lean overly positive in my initial reactions. And what I really need to see from Life and Death is if the playability is going to be something that integrates into my normal everyday gameplay. I really think all the aspects of the pack are a lot of fun, but do these aspects end up in my legacy challenge and my day-to-day gameplays? That's what to me makes a good expansion pack, and I think everyone has a different opinion on what they look for in a good expansion pack, so that's kind of personal preference. But for me, if it doesn't seamlessly integrate into gameplay, then it's not a good expansion pack for me. Not to say that that makes an expansion pack bad per se, but it makes it a lot less usable, and at $40 per expansion pack, I feel like usability is probably on the top of my priority list. But let's talk about the build for a minute. We have decided to go around and place all of these starter hedges everywhere. It was an act of love, to be honest with you, but I do think it looks really good, so I don't regret it at all. But this took forever. Obviously, watching it fast is like kind of satisfying, but the real-time placement of all those hedges was kind of rough. But since this is a community build and a cafe build at that, I did decide to keep the landscaping pretty structured, but I really like the structured style of landscaping for this type of build and for the area that this build is in. So I'm pretty happy with the way that all of that turned out. But now we are getting a little pathway over to a nice outdoor seating area. I do end up using the tables from the Riviera Retreat Kit in this creamy color. I just felt like they matched so perfect, and they had more of that elegant older aesthetic to it. But now we are finally heading back inside, I think, and starting to work on the interior, which I think the exterior is lovely, but the interior is where this lot really shines, and it takes me a minute to kind of figure out the direction that we're heading, so bear with me. You'll probably see a few changes here and there. I couldn't decide if I wanted to go dark and moody or light and bright, but we did obviously end up with the dark and moody aesthetic. But I wanted to make sure that there were a lot of useful skill building items here. I wanted to make sure that if you brought your whole family of Sims here, there was a little something for everyone. When I build these community lots, I really do like them to be as multifunctional as possible. There's nothing here but a cafe lot, but we end up with a lot of bookshelves. We end up with like a little internet section of computers. I end up with a small corner for kids. But the main issue I was having with the exterior of this build was I wanted the brown tones inside to be darker than what our exterior doors were, and it just wasn't working. But I do think we finally found a nice mix. We just had to use a lot more black than I had originally intended, but I really like the black swatches in this pack, and luckily with the different kinds of paneling and stuff, it doesn't read flat. The black still has a lot of pretty texture to it, so it ends up being a lot of blacks, camels, browns, and a little bit of red pops here and there, I think. I don't know what we end up with. I will say I jump around a lot in this build, especially on the interior. I find the more I jump around, the less confident I am in the idea of the build, I guess you could say. So if you see me jump around in a build a lot, I don't know what I'm doing yet. I'm like hoping by each section I move to, it will come to me. And honestly, it usually does. So it typically works out for me like that. But it is a little jarring if you're watching the build back to see me go from upstairs to downstairs to bathroom to kitchen to cafe to back to upstairs. So I can admit it's a little jarring. It moves around really fast, but we will be doing a full tour at the end so you can get a good look at everything that we've done here. This will be my one plug for my Twitch channel, but we did build this live over on Twitch. So if you ever want to come hang out with us live, or if you want to watch the full live video back, my Twitch channel is in the comments below, as well as my second channel, Plumeria Plus, where I post all of my live streams back. So if you ever want to check those out, you're welcome to. But live, people can give me suggestions on what they think we should have. So that's how we ended up with a telescope, a chess table, and then eventually a games table out on the patio. So if you ever have anything you want to see in the build, you can come let me know, and I'll usually put it in there if we can fit it. But now we're moving on to, well, I thought we were moving on to our cafe section, and now I'm back with the games table. Like I said, lots of hopping around. So sorry about that. I feel like I usually do a decent job of staying at least in the same zone of a build, but this one was particularly bad for me for some reason. I think I was in a bit of a hurry because I only stream on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, and this was our Thursday build. But on Saturday, I really wanted to go back to our Let's Play, so I didn't want to have to finish this build up in another stream. I wanted to go ahead and get it done so we could hop straight into our Let's Play on Saturday. Also, if you're interested in watching that Let's Play, it's also in Plumeria Plus. I do also plan on doing a YouTube Let's Play with the Life and Death expansion pack. I just hadn't quite decided where I wanted to go yet. The one on Twitch is more of like a first reactions, like initial Let's Play, but I wanted to have a better idea of a storyline to do on YouTube. So if you have any suggestions for that you'd like to see, let me know in the comments. We're playing with a bad ghost over on Twitch, so I was like, maybe we do a good ghost Let's Play on YouTube? I don't know. Let me know if you have any thoughts on it. But back to the build for just a minute. We are doing the bathrooms now, and we have 2 bathrooms on the bottom floor and 2 on the top floor, and they pretty much look exactly the same. So not too special, but the bathrooms were the one place that I got to use the green wallpaper. I really heavily gravitate towards green, so I kind of tried to fight the urge to build an all green house because I have a bad habit of wanting to do that, especially when we get a new pack. I feel like I always build a fully green house. Actually, the house that we built for our Let's Play that we're in is pretty much an all green house, at least on the main floor. So I was trying to fight my urges, but I think that one will also be posted as a speed build on here eventually if you're ever interested in seeing it. But now we are working on that little kitty corner. We kept it pretty simple, and I think now we're kind of starting to think about the exterior a little bit more, but we're not done with the interior yet either. I don't know why I couldn't focus on one area. I wanted a swing set and monkey bar set outside, and I have the most trouble placing those for some reason. I don't know why I couldn't figure out where I wanted it to go. And also that crypt is in the back right now, but the crypt doesn't stay. We may or may not end up with a mini graveyard, but it's not a crypt. But now we're back inside again doing curtains. I did use the Desert Luxe curtains. I love these curtains, and I just felt like the color scheme on them was perfect. And then we get these cute little lanterns on all of our tables. Oh, and then I find these string lights. So then I was like, okay, well, we have to put the string lights. I think we put them down the fence. Yeah, we ended up down the fence. I started trying to put them in the front, but that does not pan out for me. So we end up going down the edge of the fence and then actually shrinking our lot back in to fit the length of the string lights. But when I was first looking through all the items, I came across the pole and I was like, what is this pole for? Like, why would I ever need that? It's the pole for the string lights. I don't know why. I didn't realize sooner, but it's really nice that they gave us the pole and the string lights in regular build mode instead of like hidden away in debug. So we definitely had to use that, but now we are shrinking that lot in a little bit now. But that means I have to replace all of the bushes that we originally did. It went so fast this time, but it really did take a minute to do. But now that shrinks my lot, so I have less room for our swing set and our monkey bars. So it was kind of a whole thing, but I do think it was really worth it to have the string lights perfectly go down the length of the fence. Apparently I'm back inside now. What the heck am I doing in here? Oh, I might be touring for somebody that stopped by. I attempt to run the string lights along the back of the fence, but that doesn't fit and I'm not willing to shrink the lot anymore. And now we've got a new monkey bar set. This is the one from Romantic Garden Stuff, but it has that really pretty greenery on it, and we swap swing sets. But at this point in the build, we're starting to add on some more of the finishing touches. The base of the build is what we end up with, But over here is where we're adding in our little internet cafe type section. I just think it's really helpful to have computers in a cafe lot. I don't know if it's technically realistic, but this is almost a bit of a library cafe combo. We have a lot of bookshelves and things like that around too. But at this point, we're starting to go back in and get some finishing decorations, adding some clutter to the bathrooms, adding some art on the walls, that kind of stuff. And skipping ahead a little bit, lastly, we are heading to our backyard area to add in our mini cemetery because we do end up calling this the Death Cafe. So I felt like we had to add in at least a little mini graveyard somewhere and just a couple of trees to help fill out the lot a little bit more. But let's go ahead and hop in and I'll give you a tour of the full build. I'm just loading in right now, but Apollo's face, he's so close to the camera. He's like hanging off of the edge of the bed. Oh, big yawn. So here we are in the world of Ravenwood, and I have my cafe built over here in this little Crow's Crossing area of the world. And here is a look at the lot from the outside. We've got the monkey bars in the front, and our swing set ended up over in the back. I just blocked it off a little bit with this birch tree. And like I said, we've got a little mini graveyard back here in the corner with this large tree kind of draping over the top of it. On the bottom floor is where our actual cafe area is. Your Sims actually have a couple of different ways they can get back here. This is a fence that they can walk through, or they can go through the kitchen door, which then leads behind the cafe. On the counter behind the cafe, we have all kinds of clutter. I did add a few things in from the Home Chef Hustle pack, like the little waffle maker. And then we also have a mixer and a fully functional kitchen in this space, so you can have your Sims cook here if you wanted to. This little seating area under the window is probably my favorite space in the cafe, but there are a lot of just regular cafe tables around all of our big bookshelves and whatnot. And then over here, we have two of the downstairs bathrooms, only with toilets and sinks, and they are identical. Upstairs, we have some more bookshelves with our little internet area right over here. A few more regular cafe tables with a cozy fireplace seating area in case you wanted to take a more cozy approach to the cafe. We have two bathrooms on either side of this space, once again completely identical, and in between that is where we have a small kids corner with an art station, a size down dollhouse which does work, the new Blarfy, a set of blocks, just so your kids have something fun to do if you decide to bring them here. Out on this little circle patio, we have a little telescope. I mean, technically the telescope is just looking straight into this tree, but that's neither here nor there. And then out on this front patio, we have a chess and a games table. So there is a lot for your Sims to do here on this lot. And I really love the way it turned out. We do have the light set to the kind of gold tone and a little bit dimmer if you're wondering how we got that light aesthetic. I do already have this build on the gallery for you. We called it the Death Cafe. It is not limited pack, but it's not my most aggressive pack build I've ever done before. And I do use hashtag PlumeriaPlay to give you an easier time finding it. But that is our cafe build all done. Let me guys know what you think of it in the comments below. And if there's any other builds you'd like to see with the Life and Death expansion pack, or any gameplay with the Life and Death that maybe you want to see. If you made it this far in the video, comment a coffee cup or like a matcha tea emoji in the comments below. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have the best rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!